What's up, sports bettors? If you're ready to get nerdy, I have two concepts for you and two bets. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is arbitrage betting. It's a tool we don't talk about a lot on OddsJam, but it's not too good to be true. It's risk-free money in sports betting. You heard that right, risk-free money. How is it possible? That's what we're going to go through, right? So essentially, the way that OddsJam works at the core is if we open up, a specific bet, is OddsJam is constantly scanning all of the sportsbook odds, right? Here you can see a bunch of odds. So OddsJam is updating millions of odds in real time to help sports bettors find the best possible lines and the best possible bets. So for example, if you want to bet on, Johnson over 2.5 receptions, you should be placing your bet on Pinnacle at plus 131, not on Caesars at plus 118. That's like the core of sports betting. If you're not line shopping, you're never going to make money. This is sports betting 101. Any sophisticated bettor knows that. Any full-time bettor will have 10 plus sports books. Anyone who does this full-time for a living. But anyways, what is arbitrage? Essentially, in a few rare circumstances, it's not like super common. You can see there's probably like 15 arbitrage bets currently available on OddsJam. Is in a rare amount of situations, you'll have that sportsbooks, their lines are so different that you can bet on equal and opposite outcomes and earn a risk-free profit, right? Essentially, sportsbooks want to be unique, so they set lines in a unique way. They all set lines independently. DraftKings doesn't want the same odds as Caesars. They want to be unique. They don't want the same odds as Pinnacle. They all set lines independently. So sometimes you'll get these weird circumstances where sportsbooks are completely out of line on a player prop or something like that, and there are these massive discrepancies which are called arbitrage bets. So here's an example that we're going to go through. Marquise Brown over 5.5 receptions is plus 125 odds on Pinnacle Sportsbook. Okay, his under is minus 105 odds on PointsBet. So you can bet the over 100 to win 125, and the under, you're just betting 105 to win 100. Now, these are obviously going to be equal and opposite outcomes. Why are they equal and opposite outcomes? If he has 6 or more receptions, the over hits, over 5.5, the under does not hit, right? If he has less than 6, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the under hits, the over doesn't hit. So there's no world where both these bets can hit or only one bet hits, right? These are equal and opposite outcomes due to discrepancies in bookmaker odds. So plus 125 on the over, minus 105 on the under. So if you pull up this arbitrage calculator, which is right here, and let's say you have $200 in your Pinnacle account, what this calculator will tell you is, hey, in order to guarantee yourself a risk-free profit, bet $200 on the over, $230 on the under, and you'll make a risk-free profit of $19.50. So how does that work? Well, let's go through the math. So let's say you bet Brown over 5.5 receptions at plus 125 odds, $200, right? You bet the under 230 at minus 105 odds, exactly as the calculator says. Okay, so now we have the two bets from the calculator, and there's two situations that are going to occur. He's either going to have 5 or less receptions, in which case our under on PointsBet is going to win, our over on Pinnacle is going to lose. Or he's going to have 6 or more receptions, the under will lose, the over is going to hit. So in both cases, one bet has to win, one bet has to lose. That's an arbitrage bet. So what you'll notice is, hey, if he has 5 or less, right, we're going to be losing our over 5.5, so losing $200 on Pinnacle. But on PointsBet, we're winning 230 times 100 over 105, right? That's the profit if you're betting 230 at minus 105 odds. So our net profit is $19. We're up $219 on PointsBet. We're down $200 on Pinnacle. If he has more than 6 receptions or 6 receptions, like 6 or more, we're winning, $200 at plus 125 odds, which is just going to be $250 in profit on Pinnacle. And we're losing our $230 stake on PointsBet. So in both cases, we're up roughly $20, right? If you follow the calculator exactly, the arbitrage calculator, this will tell you how to keep your risk-free profit exactly the same from sportsbook to sportsbook. right? If you were to follow this 49 cents exactly. But if you round a bit, the numbers will be a bit different depending on if he goes under or over, what your payout's going to be. Now, arbitrage betting is a good way to like grow your bankroll slowly, stuff like that. But also, it's by definition, arbitrage tells you when a bet has to be profitable, right? If you can bet on the over and the under, for example, right here, if you can bet the over and the under and make a risk-free profit, and you have to think about how big this risk-free profit is, right? The return of the stock market averages 8% a year with tons and tons and tons of risk. This is 4% risk-free in a day. This game's going to be over in 24 hours. You're earning a 4.34% risk-free return in one day. So why is this not everyone's retired from arbitrage betting? Well, sportsbooks, they don't allow unlimited bet sizes, right? Maybe the max stake on PointsBet is $150. So you can make $12.70 in a minute logging into your accounts, but this isn't something you can go in and put $15,000 on this bet and go make $1,000, right? That's not how this works. A lot of sportsbooks have max bet sizes, things like that, especially for the less liquid markets like player props. But anyways, how does this relate to profitable sports betting strategy? And the reason is because, right, this is pretty interesting. Sportsbooks, whenever there's an arbitrage bet, by definition, one bet has to be profitable. Right? You can't have the opportunity to make risk-free money betting on equal and opposite outcomes and not have one bet be profitable. And profitable just means positive EV, right? OddsJam literally has a betting tool called the positive EV betting tool right there to kind of show you mathematically profitable bets. But anyways, whenever there's an arbitrage bet, like we can see here, Jets plus 6.5 is an arbitrage bet with Browns minus 6.5. You can get plus money on both, plus 100 and plus 104. So you could arbitrage bet this and make a risk-free return of 1%. 1% in a day, not that bad. Return of the stock market's 8% a year with tons of risk. You're earning 7% risk-free in a week if you did this every day. So ridiculous, right? Absolutely ridiculous that you can do this in sports betting due to discrepancies in bookmaker odds because bookmakers try to set lines independently. But regardless, what you'll notice is whenever arbitrage exists, there has to be a mathematically profitable bet. So here, for example, I bet on the Jets plus 6.5, right? They only let me bet $275, but regardless, that is the bet I went with. Jets plus 6.5, $275 for $100. Again, I'm going to be tracking the profit and loss of all my YouTube sports bets. I'm not going to track like fantasy and underdog and stuff like that just because it gets a little too complicated tracking everything in this sheet. But just sports bets, like straight up sports bets, parlays, stuff like that. No promos. Promos are cheating, right? Because, I'm not going to track promos. But anyways, so here we have an arbitrage bet between Betfair and PointsBet. So we know one of these bets has to be profitable, right? So how do we determine which bet is profitable? Well, the Betfair exchange only has 2 cents in market width. It's a very sharp, efficient betting market. It's a peer-to-peer betting market. So that's ridiculous. 2 cents in market width. Pinnacle has 12, right? But as you can see, Jets plus 6.5 is favored on both the Betfair exchange and Pinnacle Sportsbook, the sharpest sportsbook in the world. So pretty clear the bet you want to go with, because by definition, either this plus 104 or this plus 100 has to be mathematically profitable. I ended up hitting this plus 100, right? OddsJam is all about using data to find sharp bets. Seahawks plus 7.5 is an ARB to Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker in the world, right? Looking at DraftKings pricing this minus 180, the bet you'd clearly want to go with is Seahawks plus 7.5. Same with Bears plus 7.5 on the first half spread. Hit them both. First half spread, Seahawks plus 7.5, Bears plus 7.5. Final play, Commanders money line, plus 110, ARB to the Betfair exchange. Pretty clear value in my opinion. I ended up hitting it. So I've the Jets plus 6.5, and then the second pick I have is, if I can find my bets somewhere, I have the Commanders money line for 454.55. 454.55. Plus 110, right? So 2 bets I'm adding, Commanders money line, Jets money line. Let's make some money.